Coming up, a disciplined, dedicated, highly motivated law enforcement officer with lots of experience who has been making quite a mark. That's our special guest on the long bench today. September is dedicated to something very special, the thirst for excellence. And lots of people have been talking about the kind of impact that he has had. So we meet him and we have a little chat about what drives him and why it is that he has an obvious thirst to excel in all he does. First, let's just remind you who the gentleman is. We never assume in radio that you'd hear from the beginning. So thanks for joining us if you're just with us. We're in the Long Bench segment of Palav, and it's all about the thirst for excellence for the month of September. And we thought we'd go out with a bang and have a chat with Sergeant Kevin V. Watson, disciplined, dedicated, highly motivated law enforcement officer with extensive IT, that's information technology, and investigative expertise. He's got more than 19 years of combined experience in the field of IT, cybersecurity, and law enforcement. As we have seen through radio, TV, and other means, he's very insightful and possesses excellent communication skills and interpersonal skills. When you talk to all the people in media and when they hear the promo, the number, I can't call the number, call on WhatsApp, I say, yeah, I'm after that up on my teeth. So clearly he knows how to deal with people. And that's a good skill to have. He says he's a patriot. We'll find out what that means. He does believe in serving mankind and his country. Again, something pretty rare. And he's been an active member of the JCF since only 2011. Can you imagine? With the kind of accolades. And since May this year, he's now held the position of communication manager in the Joint Task Force of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Sarge, welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. McDaniel.
Well, you can't call me Jerry still, you know. Every time I hear Mr. McDaniel, I think about my late father. Like, no, my father, yeah, Mr. McDaniel, me name Jerry. No, it's fine. Whatever makes you comfortable is good.
All right.
So, tell me a little bit about the young Kevin. Why is it that you think you have turned out this way? Is it more nurture or more nature? They say some people are born with a kind of fixity of purpose and the parents kind of bring it out. And then some component of it, you come kind of like a blank slate and your parents help to shape it even more. 50-50, 80-20, what do you think? How much of it is how you're born and how you stay, and how much of it was inculcated by the influences around you?
Well, I think it's a combination of both. Mm-hmm. I had, great parenting growing up. Actually, I grew up in the church. I got baptized when I was only 12 years old.
Wow.
I'm a Pentecostal, apostolic. And so that definitely helped to shape me into the person that I am today. Mm-hmm. My mother is a missionary, Pentecostal missionary. And she has been since I know myself. Mm-hmm. So, going to church every Sunday was a must. Taking part in church. And even after getting baptized, I played a very active role in church from that time. So I think with that, along with the home environment, growing up with 5 other siblings, I was the eldest.
Oh,
and so there was a certain responsibility.
You're responsible,
right? So I've always had that sense of responsibility from a very early age.
Yes,
because there were times in my life, where I was expected to kind of help in grooming my younger siblings and so on.
Mm. And then your choice of field, IT was the first love. Was it something that you kind of got hooked by experience, or did you always know that you were going to work with technology?
Well, I think technology has always been a part of me. As a matter of fact, I have an uncle who is the chief engineer at IRFM, and I spent part of my life growing up around him, and he influenced me in the field of technology and computers. And I think computers kind of came naturally to me because from a very early age I was pulling apart various electronic devices and so on. And then I guess after, being exposed to other advanced electronic devices, being around my uncle, I sort of just got to love it very much, And so basically in my early years, computers just came naturally. I could just sit around a computer and get it. I remember back in those days they had like Microsoft DOS. Disk operating system that command prompt interface.
Right.
We had to issue commands to the computer. So I started out then. So computers have always been a part of me from ever since I started to really know what I wanted to do. And then there was also policing. I have an uncle who was a police officer in the JCF. For a number of years until he resigned. But I always admired him. I just liked the uniform. And I thought it was such a respectable job, And I also have an uncle on my father's side of the family who was a Ohio State Sheriff for many years until he retired. And so I've always said that there is really... there are really two love that I've ever had in my life, and that's computers and policing. I've never ever wanted to do anything else. And I give God thanks. I had the opportunity to do both and to combine them so effectively.
Wow. And here was I thinking that you just kind of were... I had this view in my head that you might have been an IT guy and then you just got fed up with all this craziness happening in cyberspace and got anointed by God to come and solve it. Tap on your shoulder, Kevin. Come. No? He wasn't like that.
No, as I said before, policing was always something that I loved and wanted to do. As a matter of fact, when I left high school, in 1995. I can't believe it has been so long, but yes, 95.
You want me to tell you what me leave high school? Anyway, it's not about me, I'm just messing. Yeah.
Right. I really wanted to join the police force. But then, as I said before, I was drawn to computers because I was always so good at it.
Yes.
And so I ended up in the computer field and ended up getting a couple jobs until I got the job at as an IT manager back in 2003.
That was at Grove?
That was at Grove Broadcasting, and I was there
for those who are not aware, because we tend to just think of IRI and Zip and so on, but the Grove Broadcasting would be the holding company for those stations.
Right.
Wow. Let me just bring in somebody here. Miss Sonia.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Tell me about this boy child here. What is it? What did you think of him growing up? Mothers. They say mothers. Nobody know there's the sons like the mothers.
Yes.
No matter what kind of the relationship, ebb and flow, always constant. Whatever, women know them boy pitney. That's what they say. They always do. Sometimes they know us better than we know ourselves, right?
Of course.
So, what were some of the things that passed through your mind as you watched young Kevin grow?
Well, as you know, he's my firstborn, right?
See, you told us that, sir.
Yes. And he was a really loving child. He was always very close to me. When he was a baby, I couldn't turn. I couldn't leave him and go anywhere. He was a crybaby. Could stay anywhere and hear him crying because mommy leave him. Yes. However, watching him grow, I've seen him budding and maturing into a gentleman. And having gone into the church at such a young age, I realized that I did the right thing for him, grooming him and growing him up in the church. I remember, I don't know if I should say this, I rememl girls.
Yeah, as a journalist, if you say something, yeah, I'm going to say yeah.
Because he's very handsome. Girls used to be attracted to him a lot. But he was so dedicated to God.
Yes.
There was this young lady who really liked him, and he told her that he's a child of God and she needs to serve the Lord. And really, it really hurt her, but that's how strict he was. He was dedicated to his call, and he has matured over the years, going into Area FM to work as the IT manager. He has excelled a lot more than I even dreamed. And you know what? It comes with a mother's prayer. A mother must always be praying for their child. And I've seen that this is how God has helped Kevin. And guess what? He has not departed from his roots.
Well, we can tell. I mean, when some people are like what I'd call closet Christians, you know. Their mother know, them church know, but nobody out the street will know really and truly.
Whenever
it's like them mouth get tied up and they're not prepared to say what they believe.
Right. Whenever anything is going wrong, he would call and he'd say, Mom, I want you to pray over this for me. And I would pray over it. So, I believe that Kevin is not a put over. He is truly genuine to his call. And you know what he told me since he has been in the force? He said, Mommy, if I catch you in a crime, I am going to arrest you. Even if it means that I am going to have to bail you, because I stand up for the right.
Yeah.
And to hear a son saying he would arrest you if he catch you with any form of crime. In serious, don't it?
Well, I imagine that growing up, if he was caught in any kind of problems at school, you would probably talk to him rather than go fight the teacher.
Yes.
So I'm saying the example that, somebody can have a loved one who they really care for, but they're going to tell them the truth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You had to have got that from somewhere, so we have to say respect to you for that, inculcating that.
Yes.
As you mentioned the girls thing now, I got a text from... I can't read some of them that I get still. I have to kind of, pray over them and let them go. But Jean Lorichin, she's a big respectable lady, so I can quote this one. It's nothing that I can't read on the air.
Yeah.
And Jean said, well, his TV appearances have made him quite the lady's heartthrob. An older lady friend of mine said, and tweeted it, boy, he can arrest me anytime.
I know.
Jean, I'm going to tell you, priest. Yes.
Everywhere I go, that's it. They're always talking about. And he has made his mark on people. In my community, everybody knows him. Everybody knows him. He has made his mark, and I give glory to God for that, and for him standing up to the discipline that I have placed in him, both me and his stepfather. His stepfather, he didn't grow with his real dad.
Right.
He grew with his stepfather, and his stepfather really trained him, and he took it in, and I appreciate that.
Do you know a lady named Hermin Bowie Bailey? She posted on Facebook. She come from Great Pond. And she said, great people come from Great Pond in Ocherias. Enough love and blessing to Mr. Watson forever.
Yes, I don't know her, but I know my brother lives there, and Kevin was there with him for a while.
Right.
Duval has played a great role in Kevin's life too. I can tell you that. Yes.
Wow. Anything else you want to share?
Well, just that I'm proud of him, and I pray that God will cover him, and I pray that he will not lose sight of who he is, because he's going into the eyes of the public. He will not lose sight of God who brought him to where he is. Yes.
man of noble character who can find.
Yes.
I'm twisting the Proverbs thing for a woman of noble character, but I think the principles are the same, right? To
Yes,
a man or woman.
he is true to his word. He will tell me when I am wrong. I'm his mom, but he will tell me when I'm wrong.
With all love and respect.
Yes. And one thing he said to me, Mommy, I don't want you to cover me when I am wrong. I want you to tell me straight when things are not good, when things are not right, and that is how you will help me.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Wow. Good stuff.
Yes.
Thanks, Miss Sonia.
All right.
All right. You want to say something to your mother before she go? I mean, you see her all the time, but you know.
Just that she's a great lady. I mean, I am who I am today because of her. So I want to thank you, Mommy.
Yeah.
I still call her Mommy, by the way.
What else do you? What else? I mean, I see some people get older and them start calling mother by their first name.
Right.
Me too dark for that. Mommy is mommy when me's 100. I just that she dead now, but she is still there.
Yeah.
Same. Well, we used to say mama.
Yeah.
So mama would have been mama if she was alive today. Nothing wrong with that. Your mother is your mother.
But I appreciate her so much. I think the prayers that she has sent up over my life is what has kept me until now. I can tell you my mother is a prayer warrior. And I thank God for her every single day. I've had situations where, I go to arrest somebody and they said to me, boy, Mr. Watson, you're dealing. I said, what you mean dealing? I never understood what it meant. But only to find out what he's asking is if I'm dealing in Obia.
Me know.
And I said no, but I'm dealing in God, and I think God has been keeping me all this time. I've been on so many different operations where other police officers are afraid to deal with some of the persons that we're arresting because they have so many oils and
Yes.
things relating to witchcraft and Obia, and
About God.
right, I always I'm always the one or the first person to interface with these persons, and because I always say that I respect everyone, but I'm afraid of no one. Because God is my protector.
Same so.
Wherever I go with God. So
same so. That's why they say, you could have deal or go and do whatever else. So if you see this gentleman coming, you could have deal. He's got the real deal. So wonderful story, Miss Sonia. I really, really thank you so much.
I appreciate you
for helping him to be the man who is saving us from a lot of this cancer.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Yes. God bless you.
All right, bless you.
All right.
Take care. Walk good there.
Yes.
Keep well. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Good.
Will do.
All right. We have a caller on line 4. Hi. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good, and you?
Very well, thank you.
Good. I've never met Mr. Watson, but I've watched him on TV, and he's really a darling. Looking at him, he's really a darling, and I don't know him, I am so proud of him. And I'm glad his mommy brought him up that way. And I'm hoping that he will be safe, because when I hear that they were threatening him, I was so afraid for him.
Yeah.
But thank God.
The dark forces always come against anything that prospers,
Yes,
Straight.
And that lady that came out here, when I saw her on his arm, when he was helping her.
Miss Chioho Carnes, yes, that little that 86-year-old American woman.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That was such a heartbreaking story.
Yes, it was.
Boy, he was so gentle with her.
Yes.
And I say, so Master Kevin,
yes.
I love you. I never met you. I love you. I'm praying for you, and may God bless you.
Thank you very much. I love you too.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right.
Thanks for your calling. Really appreciate it.
You're quite welcome. Okay, bye-bye.
Yep. All right. Let us say. Oh, you have another call. All right. Cool. Let's line 6. All right. Good. Wonderful. Thanks. Hey. Ooh, them gone. What about line one? Line one. Hi, good afternoon.
Okay.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
How you do?
Hello?
Oh, yes, man. I'm saying, how you do?
Yeah, man, not too man. First time I call you ever since the show go on, but
Oh, where I say? It took 13 years then.
me listen every time, although me always at church.
Ah.
But one of my thing right now is that, as I heard the lady say, she don't know Mr. Watson, but she saw him on the TV. I have to call to say that if it's that Indian gentleman.
Come again? What you say about the Indian gentleman?
No, I'm asking if it's that Indian policeman.
Are you Indian?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I just see the Jamaica's a funny place. You cannot assume anything.
Right.
People, depending on the height of my hair at the time, people assume that I'm Indian. Or they assume other things because me have one of them mix-up thing going on in here. It have black and white, all kind of stuff. When it flat, it's spiky and look like Chinese. When it reach halfway, it start to flop up and look Indian-ish. And when it big, it look like me come from Namibia. So you don't know. You don't know. I'm not going to assume these things.
All right.
So yes, question answered. Right.
That I already saw Mr. Watson on the TV for true.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Watson has been doing a wonderful job. Because let me tell you something, Jerry. You see where this lot of thing is concerned, man, a trainer on the well one, if it just eradicate from the country and that people can understand more about their lives and don't get into lottery scam.
One of the scariest things about it is that they can do it remote, you know. It's like you can't, you know, it's so slippery.
Right.
You know, unless you have somebody with the IT expertise that can
exactly
pick them up by the IP or other clues.
Right. Because it's lottery scamming is really evolution of fraud. Fraudulent activities. I mean, it still have elements of traditional fraud, but then it utilizes technology to commit the crime. And so you really need tech-savvy investigators to effectively investigate these types of crimes.
Well, honestly, I just want to say, Mr. Watson, continue to do your good work, my friend, because I appreciate you so much. I have always been seeing you. And, boy,
thank you very much,
to
sir.
be on Jerry's show. Jerry, man.
Yes, boss.
It's a pleasure.
It's over the years.
Yeah.
Yes, man.
Well, we appreciate you being here, sir.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Montego Bay region. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Alrighty, take care.
Yeah, Jerry.
All right, the best. Yeah, so you always had the idea of both the tech and the policing.
Right.
What was the precipitating factor, or maybe more than one factor at the time that led to that move where the two sides just connected and you found that synapse, that synergy?
All right. Well, you know, as I said before, I always wanted to join the police force. After being at Grove for 12 years, I think at the time, my first boss, Carl Young, died. I think it's between 2009 and 2010. And his son took over. And I remember, you know, supervising a staff of approximately 7 persons. I used to basically delegate, and I could, you know, deal with the servers remotely and so on. And so, you know, one day I said to myself, I'm getting older. This is something I've always wanted to do. So I went to Chad. That's his son who took over. And I said, you know, I said to him, you know, I've always wanted to become a police officer. And I know how important my job is here. But this is something that I really want to do. And I believe that I could still manage the department, you know, and become a police. And he said to me, well, you know, you've been a good man and you've done so much for this company. We can try. I'll give you the opportunity. And, you know, I went into training. I ended up doing the police entry exam. Was successful, and all of this happened within a time span of probably about 5 months.
What?
Right, I got through very fast.
Wow.
Very quickly. And I ended up going into training. I was able to train and still manage my team there at Grove, and I was still paid full salary. I give God thanks for these blessings. I knew this was a calling because of how everything worked out, But, there came a time when I had to make a choice to, dedicate my time fully to the JCF. And I think it was a very easy choice for me because I absolutely got to love law enforcement, and I found myself wanting to do more, wanting to make a difference, wanting to bring a different light to the JCF. And so, it was, as I said before, it was an easy decision for me to just transition right into the JCF because I love law enforcement. And I also saw the opportunity to help others, and to help build this country in a positive way.
So it was just time. In your mind, it was just a time.
It was just time, and I think it was God's timing too. Because I joined the JCF at a time when I believe my skill set, my expertise
was most needed.
Was most needed, right?
And then you needed the time to develop it more. Is it's
exactly
not name coincidence in this world?
Yes.
No coincidences. Good stuff. Let's see who we have here on line 6. Hello, thanks for holding. How are you? Hello? Hello?
Good afternoon, Jerry.
Yes, boss. How you doing?
Want big up Mr. Watson. I don't know him, but I see him. I want big him up, because you know, we need 1,000 more man like that by the force, You see, because you see Mr. Watson, them man, they will lock up all the commissioner. Them man, they will lock up all the minister. Them man, they will lock up all the opposition. And them man, I'm like.
Yeah, them lay themselves careless. Well, too bad.
And them man, I'm like. You understand? Them man, I want to root out the corruption. Because them man, they know the corruption in the force. They want to help root it out. You understand? That's why me like them man. You understand? Them man, I'm like, listen to them man, I'm like, see them work.
Can I ask you a question here now?
Yeah.
So if you have intelligence about something, would you ensure that he gets the information?
That's the best man for deal with, because the man go talk and say, boy, I can't tell the man the people go burn down the house. That these man you need man where can hold them out. That's what people need in Jamaica, and people are afraid. People want to talk, but they want somebody with them can trust.
So even with the anonymous things, because don't you have the anonymous hotlines and so that, but you mean it might be checked by the wrong people?
We don't want no anonymous. We want them man Adams, them man we can tell Adams, and them man never go tell back no man. Them man just take the man them phone and say we are going so. And them man we need in our place. All the country clean up. You have them man where you can call and say, you can't call and tell anybody in the police, you're mad. You have man where you can call and say, Tom or Harry, and say, the people the most. People want to talk, Many people want to talk, but they want somebody them can trust and know, say. Them family now go dead, them house now go burn down. That's all Jamaica need, People just want somebody them can trust.
A system that's trustworthy, eh?
Yeah, that's the thing that people want. People want confidential, say your name now go call. That's what people want, People will tell the police, but they want police so them can trust. Because you have good police and you have bad police.
Yeah.
The man say, we'll lock up my mother, and that me let's tell my poor worker then. And then big police are we need.
There's a funny thing, we all come out of the same gene pool, so we have to remember that it's true, you're talking the truth, that every field of endeavor, the same people living in your community. You have the good one, the bad man one, the outsider one. Same to the police force, same to the teacher, same to the broadcaster, same to the everywhere.
Right.
So which is why you have to, it's true. So you have to kind of, respect everybody, but don't give nobody no check. And just understand that you have to find the people you can deal with and trust.
Even at the same Labour Party and PNP, they are corrupt.
Yeah.
They don't want the thing start.
That's pretty established.
People blood a splatter from Middle Point to Moran Point at Jamaica.
Yeah.
They don't want the thing stop. If they want to stop, it's a shame and disgrace in our country. 150 people are slaughtered in blood. A slaughter, and then everybody come like it, sleep it under the cover, and then we sleep comfortable. And say, oh God, come down and help me. We have to help ourselves.
All right, boss. Well, yeah, man. Thanks for your call here.
Yeah, man.
We really, really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much, my brother.
Big up yourself.
All right,
Yes,
well,
yes.
good. Yeah, man. Line 3? Line 3?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good afternoon, Mr. Jerry. First time on the program.
What?
But I could never let this opportunity miss me. I don't know Mr. Watson in person, just seeing him on the television. But
Yes.
let me tell you, I really, really admire him. And when I heard his mom gave the testimony, as a mother, my eyes were filled with water.
Your head raised down.
Yes, and what sticks out most about him, it was when he was doing this investigation, the latter thing, and when this elderly white lady from abroad held on to him. I can never forget that. So, Mr. Watson,
Yes.
keep doing what you are doing, and you see you're covered under the blood, and we will always pray for you. We love you, Mr. Watson. Keep doing your good work.
Thank you very much. And
Yes.
I know that there are so many Jamaicans who are praying me up,
Yes, Mr.
up
Watson.
on a regular basis. I know that is, that is
Yeah.
one of the things that is really
Yeah.
keeping me. I really appreciate it.
Yes, Mr. Watson.
Yes, thank you.
All the best.
Thanks for your call. Really appreciate
yes,
it.
Mr. Jerry. Okay.
Where are you calling from? Oh, I should have asked a little before that. All right. Thank you, please. Line 1. Hi, good afternoon.
Hello.
Hey, welcome.
Hi, Jerry Wagwan.
Doing well. I'm very happy, very grateful for many things. How are you?
Putus, I'm so happy. I'm happy that you have this miracle man beside you.
Oh, are you? Yeah, hide up your voice for me.
This miracle man beside you, man, is beautiful. I don't know him.
Yes.
And when I hear his mom say that the lady wanted to, like him, and him said, something, you have to talk to God first. I just look at myself today and I said to myself, my God, where were he? I'm so happy that he fall into the position that he's in right now. This
Timing.
scamming business, because let me tell you, it is making Jamaica look so terrible.
Yep.
And when I hear that, we have a lot of young people who could take his footstep, but refuse to do it, and he stepped forward to it. I must say congratulations to him. And I must also say congratulations to your mom, your brothers, and your sister, the family that make your bond so tight. And this is what come out of a good family. And she has done well, and you have been so good to her and good to us.
Thank you.
But this little rock, that you're a miracle man, God bless you, and I hope his mercy continue wash over you, and his protection continue wash over you, and keep you to solve more crime for us, Jamaica.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miss Margaret. Line 6, hello.
Hello.
Hi, welcome.
Hi, good afternoon. It's the first time on your program. I've listened to it quite a few times.
Well, welcome. Wait, you
I
haven't...
feel very compelled to...
Why are we broken our ducks with so many people today? Elementary, my dear Watson. You like that line in the promo?
No, I've always admired him, the way he spoke. He was very professional in how he conducted himself. And he's a shining example of what Jamaica requires in the Jamaica Constabulary Force. And I just want to encourage him, and I'm very pleased that he's a believer as well.
Thank you.
And that pray that God continues to guide him and protect him. Because the gentleman before said we need 1,000 of him. I would like to say that's not enough. We need 7,000 more.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, my brother.
Yeah.
Right, because
apart from that, we a couple hundred in Farmer.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course. No.
I'm just saying. Couple 100,000 in Farmer.
No, you have the potential for it, but I can tell you that I am a JP.
Yes.
And I have listened to other JPs, and they have related some instances where people, they themselves have reported incidents of crime or crime to happen. and it come back onto them.
No, I know that that's a fact as well.
Police
Yeah.
tell other people who call them, and we are tired of that sort of thing.
I know.
So if the police requires people to give information, they have to have the confidence of the people and
Absolutely.
restore the confidence.
Absolutely.
And so we are happy for people like Sergeant Watson, and we need 10 more thousand, stepping up the number of people like him.
Yes, in the tens of thousands.
Thank you.
So I just want to encourage him and ask God to continue to guide him and protect him. Because we need a lot of people like him. We need people who believe in Jamaica and put Jamaica first.
Thank you, my brother.
And people who insist as well, no? Because it's more. I'm more away than them, you know. I'm more away than them. Me convinced.
That is true. Remember with the prophet, with the prophet Isaiah.
Yes.
Elijah and so on.
That's correct.
When
That's correct.
Jezebel was after him, right, and him run and him complain about to God and say it's only him alone, and God said, no.
Those who are with you is more than those who are against you.
Exactly.
Right?
And we have to remember that greater is he that is in us than he that is in the world. Right? So, my brother, the Lord continue to bless you and keep you and protect you and just continue to hold the flag high, hold Jamaica's flag high, hold the Christian flag high.
Yes.
And just shows the value of family.
Yes, my brother.
And development of family.
Yes.
Bless you.
Thank you very much. Yes.
You're most welcome.
All right, take it easy.
I'm proud of you.
Bless you. All right.
Take care.
How happened to my board today, so? It a burn up? Mr. Watson, what are you doing to the people equipment? No, they appreciate you, and that's a good thing. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, welcome. How are you?
Afternoon, Jerry.
Good afternoon, boss.
I'm a ardent listener week time of your program. When I first hear the program really blew up, the line just blew up, so, you know.
This is true.
And I just want to tell you have a man on a mission in the studio, you know. And I just want to commend you for getting him in there, you know. And I too want to add my little bit in commending this gentleman because he has been doing a lot. And I know I can say Sergeant Watson, I used to call him the man Grill Pan Pete. Because they have a real system.
Yeah.
You understand me?
I don't have them anymore.
You know, and I always like to watch him and see what I'm doing because it also articulate in terms of doing his interview and doing everything. And I mean,
straight to the point.
One brother to another brother, you know.
Yes,
And I just want to encourage you and ask that to continue to cover you.
Yes.
And you just continue to do what you are called to do, and just keep focused on the higher calling, my brother.
Thank you very much. Yeah, man. God bless.
Bless you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. All right. We came across a clipping online. It actually was from, by the way, if you want to follow the work of Sergeant Watson, he's not joking when he's about to deal with the things in the digital space. He's everywhere that you need to find him. He's on Facebook at The Noble Cop, YouTube at The Noble Cop, same for Twitter, same for Instagram, and you can find him on LinkedIn as well to see his professional profile. So you can definitely get all of the information on a regular basis. The reports that you have seen about tips, about what has evolved, you can see it all there and continue to support the work because he's taking the risk and everything on our behalf. Himself and his team, a whole set of officers in the force who are there under his guidance and they're doing what it is that we need to be done. So we need to follow those channels and continue to support him. Came across something online. I think I picked this up from it might have been your Twitter account, or was it? No, it was Instagram. A letter that was in the newspaper over the signature of Robert Daly, who said, "Must emphatically commend the head of the police's elite lottery scamming task force, the erudite Sergeant Kevin Watson, for being a hardworking, dedicated, and highly professional police officer. He has been using his Facebook page to sensitize the public, including young people, about the dangerous crime of scamming and the immense negative consequences that come with it. Sergeant Watson and his dedicated team have, over the past 2 years, been visiting many schools in Western Jamaica and informing students about the deadly consequences of getting involved in scamming and the lengthy prison sentences that come along with scamming when convicted here in Jamaica and the United States." I read that because I was thinking about, the clone name thing and all, and I'm like, are you mentoring? And clearly you are. So you have thought ahead with this, that the youngsters need to be pulled in and to understand and to feel that this is important. Tell me about how that is going.
Well, that program, we actually started it in 2015. And it's really reaching out to young people. I believe that it's important for us to reach out to our youngsters, try to influence their young and impressionable mind in the right way.
Right, from early.
I think that is going to be the way to really curb the problem of crime and violence here in Jamaica. I have noticed that over the years, crime and violence have become almost like a culture among our youngsters. And my experience in law enforcement is that majority of the persons I see dying, being murdered, are young people.
And disproportionately young men, right?
Young men.
They are the perpetrators and the victims.
They are the perpetrators and the victims. And when I look at some of them, many of them, 3, 4, 5 years ago, they were high school students. Some of them are still in high school too.
And some of them 6'6".
Right. And so it is important. It is important that we place emphasis on reaching our children. Creating a different culture, creating a culture of lawfulness in them. Many of them are from communities which are affected, are plagued with crime, and this is the only avenue they see, or they can see, or they are shown. And so I think that policing has become more than just fighting crime, using special forces, but it's about being a part of social development. And I've heard many police officers saying that, that's not our job, that's for the government, that's for other groups. But I want to say explicitly that it is a part of our job. It is important that we use all methodology of crime fighting. And one of the best, I believe, is to go into the schools and educate our children, telling them of the seriousness of crime and what crime is causing us as Jamaican. Putting that as a part of their curriculum. So they grow up with a lawful mentality then.
As citizens.
As citizens. It's important, I've gone into many schools and I've interviewed, many children, listened to them, and, it's surprising to know that young children as young as 6 years old will outright tell you that they want to be lottery scammers. They want to be gangsters, and it speaks magnitude to our problems here in Jamaica.
Boy.
And so I do have a passion to reach out to our children here in Jamaica. Police officers, we have a few bad ones, but for the majority of police officers, they are very hardworking, dedicated persons. And I believe that they do have influence. Police officers can influence our younger children. I remember some time ago, I went on an operation. And when we reached the premises, there was a young man who lived next door. And even though that house was not the target, the young man ran. He took the bushes and, it caught our interest. And so we pursued him, only to find out that he was just afraid of the police. Nothing else. He was not a criminal. But he was just afraid of the police. And so many children are grown in homes where they see the police as enemies, and we need to change that. And how do we change that? We need to get into the schools, and we need to set examples and educate them about how important it is to abide by the law you know, and just basically encouraging children to love the police, believe in the police, believe that the police is here to protect you.
We need to return more so towards that. I mean, I think it drifted over the years, and you have to kind of push it back.
Yes.
Because I believe that the ones who are not on board and who are abusing their power, I do believe they're in a minority.
Yes.
I firmly believe that, because I know so many women and men who I can practically lay down my head and say, yeah. But I also know some of the ones that are not so rated. But those are one or two.
Right.
I can point them out, I can, but there are many. I just think that's something that we give up too easily. You might go to the first one and think, or you might even hear. And there are people who blacken people's name just for sport. Them just say it, and they're like, so you have evidence of this? No, but I saw the all of them turn. I'm like, you can't say that though.
And I think that it does paint a bad picture for good police officers. I can tell you that I have had the opportunity of working with some of the, brightest, police officers with integrity, who are dedicated and believe in fighting for this country. It's just sad that we have a few bad ones who are making it really, really bad for the JCF.
Funny thing, the bad ones in any situation tend to assert themselves more, so they kind of seem like it's more of them.
That is so true.
The silent majority need to kind of step up.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, just everywhere, meaning in the society as well,
Right.
Boy. Let's see who we have here on line 6. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for holding.
Good afternoon, Jerry.
How you do?
Not too bad.
Wonderful.
First time on your program, which I listen always.
Well, welcome. Glad to have you.
And, I'm happy you always have some very intelligent person in your program.
We have an amazing country, sir. That's all I know.
What I would like, and first I must congratulate the officers for capturing Duppy.
Yes.
Oh, yes. How could I forget that? Yes. In the middle of lunchtime.
What I want to know is this Mr. Watson.
Well, then they capture him, him kind of erase him, then erase the film. Them erase the film. That film can't develop again.
From the voice I'm hearing on TV, is this the same voice who went to the United States, all over the States, with Archibald Gordon to do this documentary on scamming people? Is this the same person?
Well, I did not go all over the States with him, but I think I participated in different parts of the documentary.
You was in that documentary?
Yes.
Yep.
Boy, that was a good documentary, and you should have repeated, man. That's what I think. Both of you should be commended for Journalism Award of the Year in that episode of.
I believe Archie did an amazing job.
Yes, and I didn't hear nothing. I didn't hear that he was awarded Journalism of the Year. And I was listening to that.
I think he got an award,
Yeah,
I must ask him, because I can't imagine that something as important as that, and something as topical and vexing and important. And Archibald Gordon has amazing storytelling skills.
Of course.
He has many other things, but one of the things that has always impressed me about him is how he can weave a story out of the facts. So you can understand it without talking down. He can do that very, very well, and with the resources like Sergeant Watson there,
so
was wonderful.
This is the same Mr. Watson.
Yes, that's right.
Oh boy, I tell you, congratulations, sir. You're doing a very good job, and boy,
thank you.
Admire your work, and as I said, I'm a listener, but not a caller at times.
Well, I'm glad you took the time to call, boss.
Yeah, man, I had to call because when I heard your voice and I saw that documentary with Archibald, I said, this is something that, took them all over states, the poor people them that were being scammed.
Yeah, tracing the whole thing.
Wonderful documentary, and I think Archibald should be.
Yeah, nothing better for darkness than light. So, just bringing all of that out is part of the deal. We know what you're doing.
Yeah.
There's a covert part which has to remain covert until it comes to the fullness, but the rest of us has to be a big army looking out for the clues, as well.
Congratulations on your work you're doing, sir. I don't know where you find these people from on Sundays after Sundays, but
right here in Jamaica, like I said, we have an amazing country. That's what it is. We do. In producing this program, our only problem is the schedule of busy people who may not be available.
Yeah.
And which one to invite first? We have far more in the country than we think we do. We have an amazing country of excellent people. We give short shrift and we sell ourselves short in the way we think about Jamaica. Believe me, we do.
So thanks again. I'm listening.
All right, boss. Take it easy.
All right, thank you.
Good night.
Yes.
I think we need a little music. What is Miss Stacy? You have a tune there for me? Oh, little business. All right. It's Palav on RJR. It's Real Jamaican Radio. Very special guest today, Sergeant Kevin Watson. He is communication manager at the JCF's Joint Task Force, the Joint Task Force of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. And coming up a little bit later on, we're going to hear about the Visi Dance Theatre and about screening for prostate cancer in the West. That's coming up at 4:15 in Palav on Purpose. Back with the Sarge.
Is the man, Chima is the man. Dralambe, Champala.
With an endless guarantee. What good have I done for God to send His Son, who bled and died to save a wretch like me on Calvary in agony within a wannabe. About a love like this. And if I'm really dreaming, then I wanna dream the rest of my life. I've got to be dreaming about a love like this. And if I'm really dreaming, then I wanna dream the rest of my life. Been in sin, my soul has been a slave. Send His Son, and their sinful soul to save. Eternal life to me He has given, and I'm being prepared to live with Him in heaven. He has borne my shame. I wanna wear His name. He took my sins away. And they're gone, 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 all gone. I've got to be dreaming about a love like this. And if I'm really dreaming, then I want to keep the rest of my life.
You know, there's a hurricane that just passed here now, a green hurricane. He's like 2 months early. The third Sunday in November, sir. Not today.
I love it.
Hello, Mas Chris. You know, if Christopher is listening, he probably would kind of kill himself with laugh. Oy, yeah, y'all know by now I have a serious soft spot for Christopher. He was like a first farmer when his big sister was in my class in sixth form and things. So it's like, you know, they could have deal no matter what I do. He's like my little brother. He's more accomplished, but he's my little brother. He doesn't know this, but he is my little brother. Hi, Chris. How to do?
How to do?
Merry Christmas. How are you?
Happy New Year to you. May I just congratulate your very special guest, a man of integrity, and clearly one who leads by example.
Not you.
I am just so impressed. I had to scroll through my tons of pictures to find one that I asked him kindly to take with me last year, July 21 in Montego Bay, and he's so graciously obliged. Sergeant, this is Faye Ellington. How are you?
Miss Ellington, I'm doing fine. It's a pleasure.
It's an absolute pleasure listening to you.
Yes.
Hearing what others are saying about you.
Yes,
how much
ma'am.
you cause them to feel lifted up.
Yes,
and,
ma'am.
you know, I'm certain that the Jamaica Constabulary Force today, as
Yeah.
this interview is being conducted, is also being lifted up in a very special way. As you said, they are, and I'm paraphrasing, there are a few bad eggs,
Yes.
but the majority are hardworking
Good people.
men and
Exactly.
women of the force.
Yes, yes.
I love the relationship you have with your mother.
Ah,
It is
Yes.
so important that you still keep it there. But then again, the foundation was set. You
Yes.
know? I don't want to take up too much more time because I know many others will want to speak with you, but I just want to personally thank you for the
Yes.
work you do, not only for the JCF, but for this nation. And to remind all of us that whatever we do is not only contained within the borders of Jamaica, but it can be heard
Yes.
and viewed across the length and breadth of the world, because that's the role of technology.
Yes.
That's your area of specialization as well, you
Yes,
know.
yes.
But Jerry,
Yes,
this
ma'am.
is a boss pick.
Oh.
Boss pick, I'm telling you.
yes, yes.
Sergeant, I listen to this program most Sundays, and I'm in
Yes.
touch with my good friend Jerry, but
Yes.
I'm telling you. But so I'm going to come off the line. Enough other people want to say
Just
something.
Thank you very
one
much.
quick thing you'd like to hear before. Sarge, tell her what you told me about your mommy and that tune, because it gave me
Oh,
goosebumps.
yes. Right. So this particular song,
But the Royal Roots, Got to
by
Be
the-
Dreaming.
Got to Be Dreaming, right, is a song I remember my mother singing and playing the guitar to me. My mother is a very good guitar player. And so what happened is that usually when we're younger, when after feeding us, she would take us outside. There was a big tree there with a log that we all sat on, and she would play the guitar and sing us some songs. And this song really stood out in my mind because I remembered her just loving to play this song.
So let me ask you, do you play the guitar? As a matter of fact, when I heard
Yes.
the song, I meant to ask you, do you sing?
I don't sing, but I do play the guitar. I learned to play the guitar from my mother.
Oh,
And just, right.
How awesome is
So-
that? That's fantastic.
Yeah, not many persons know. I mean, probably when I was growing up, you know, close friends and
so do you still play now? Do you get a chance to pick it up and strum a few chords?
now and then, you know, I hardly ever play no, but I think I still can do a thing or two.
You know, Jerry,
Yes, please.
I can't believe that you were certain of a take your dear making carrying guitar cover.
You know, I could have beat myself. I could have
Beat up
beat.
yourself,
I could have
yes.
beat
Anyway,
myself.
Go on.
Yes.
Be safe and thank you for everything that you do. It's a
Yes.
pleasure listening.
Well,
Thank you
the
very
door is wide
much.
open, you know, boss. You don't escape. You might have to come here and play.
Okay.
Boss
man.
too tune. Thank you,
All
Miss
right.
Faye.
And thanks to Stacy,
Yes.
your companion and friend.
Oh,
here on
yes,
the
yes,
program every
absolutely.
Sunday. God bless
Absolutely.
you. Bye-bye.
All right.
right.
Thanks. All right. Now, that's one human being that is amazing. She
Yes.
is so generous.
Yeah, I had
Generous,
the opportunity
generous,
of meeting
generous.
her in person.
Yeah.
And it was an absolute pleasure because I always admired her
Mm-hmm.
when I was, you know, growing up. She was one of those persons, those presenters that I really, really admire.
She don't joke
So
with
it's
standards, but she's
a
also
pleasure.
very accessible. That's the thing, you know,
Yes.
like if you expect somebody enforcing standards, they're kind of severe and judgmental.
Right.
But that's not true. She's
Yes.
very, very accessible
Yes.
and very embracing, but she's not playing with standards.
Yes.
Which is good. That's what we need, right?
Right.
That's certainly what we need. Let's check line 6. Hello. Thank you so much for holding.
Oh, good evening, Jerry.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, I just want to say congratulations to Sergeant Watson as well.
Yes.
And
Thank you.
Sergeant Watson, I like when people have integrity and honesty.
Yes.
And I found that in you because I've been watching you for quite a while, hearing you for quite a while.
Yes.
And nothing beats when one have an integrity and no one takes that from you.
It's my most valued asset,
It
I
is.
believe.
We spoke about this already.
Yes.
And I'm going to remind you now, we spoke about this sometime at a meeting. I was there taking photographs. Could you remember?
We need more context.
Yes, you're going to have
more
to
context.
remind me.
More context.
and I told her that I was on the other side of the fence in the central system, and we spoke at length about a lot of things. Yes, in that meeting there. I think it was Sablamar. It was. We were.
What was the bottom line then?
We were talking about, the whole lot of scamming.
I think I'm remembering. No,
yes, I am the character. Yes. I couldn't help to join the line to call you as well.
Yes.
And I wish you all the best.
Yes.
Keep your slate clean.
Thank you, my brother. I will try my best to.
Good. In those days back, as a child, I used to clean a slate with shoe block.
Yes.
Yes. Shoe block.
Yes, keep that slate clean.
Yes, my brother.
Even if they don't put you any further up, you're certain that your integrity and your slate is clean.
I agree.
It is of a great value, of a great price.
Yes.
It is priceless.
I agree with you 100%.
And God bless you, my brother.
Thank you. God bless you too, yes.
And I hope we'll meet again and we'll have some more chat.
All right, my brother. Thanks.
Okay, bye.
Thank you so much, boss. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, good. Okay, so tell me a little bit about some of the training. I looked at your resume, and what amazes me is how you were able to surgically do a lot of things that kind of just find resonance with what you do now.
Right.
A range of things from, bilateral arrangements like with the U.S. Department of Justice and so on, with your own studies that you've initiated, with training, with. Run me through some of that and how that path evolved, because there's so many elements here in a relatively short time. How did you purposefully set about just packing that toolbox with all these things that matter?
Well, as you know, I've been in IT for quite some time.
Sure.
And so the experience that I gain, through IT, I think kind of just, assisted me in transition and also helping me to be a better investigator when investigating, especially, crime types like cyber crimes and fraud. However, within the JCF, you are sent on JCF persons, detectives are sent on courses. The JCF does invest a lot in their members. And I guess that is why so many of the members have been able to leave and get very good jobs outside. And I can understand also why the JCF, why they went ahead and put the new measures in place to have persons give at least 6 months notice. Because the JCF does offer different training courses. And so some of those courses I really went on while serving in the JCF. So, for example, I was sent on a cyber crimes investigation course at RETRAC. I also did the detective course, level 1. I think there's a level 2, but I have not completed that one. However, I have also done training on my own.
Right.
So I do have I've training in cyber security from Rochester Institute of Technology as MicroMasters in cyber security. I also have an undergrad degree from University College of the Commonwealth Caribbean in Management Information Systems. And I am currently, I'm in the final stages of my master's now, which I'm actually doing the research paper, the thesis, and it's about balancing your time. I try my best to balance work and school life with home. Having a good balance is important to achieving your goals. And so I I try to ensure that whenever I, for example, with my master's program, I do it on Sundays. And so I dedicate the rest of the time to the JCF, you know. But, you know, I absolutely love policing, and I have not regretted, not even for one moment, you know, joining the police force. I think that being a part of the JCF has helped me in so many different ways. It's a good organization. Yes, you have some bad people serving in the organization,
Sure.
and I'm talking about even at the highest level.
Sure.
You know, you just like with any other organization, you have bad management, you have bad managers. However, I believe that the organization has potential. You know, they have been able to attract some very bright people. You know, one of the things I am concerned about, though, is them being able to keep those persons. And, you know, with that said, I believe that it has potential of attracting and keeping bright minds. I think that they just need to change or rearrange some things.
Right. Some re-engineering, right?
Some re-engineering. But as it relates to my courses, as I said before, you know, I like to advance myself. I like to learn, you know, and so I put out a lot of effort in learning more. You know, especially relative to what I'm doing now. I'm the kind of person, if I need to know something relevant that is relevant to anything that I'm going to undertake, I will spend time, I will read, I will look at the courses that they have out there. You know, I think it's critical that whenever we're going to undertake a task, we understand exactly what we're going to undertake. We try to get enough knowledge.
Get all the tools.
Get all the tools, right. Knowledge is power. The more you know about it, the more effectively you can carry out your duties.
So, Mr. Mark, was he always like that?
Oh, Mr. Watson?
Yes.
You know, Mr. Watson is always of that nature, you know, always a researcher from all the way back in high school.
Yes.
You know, he was always that type of person. He was firstly known for his interest in electronics.
Yes.
So he was always trying to find out stuff, investigating, researching, of a very scientific mind from as early as I can remember.
And how far back can you remember?
Way back.
When I say well back, you know, we have known each other from childhood.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
You know,
Yes.
We grew up pretty much in the same church and went to the same high school. So there's much that I can remember.
So, you know, plug the high school. It's a Jamaican thing, you know. Once you touch high school, people just go crazy with them high school and reel off the motto and all them things then. Which high school was that?
Otrius High School.
All right. Good stuff.
Yeah.
And you both got a lot of your foundation there educationally.
Yes, we did. Yeah, man. We did.
How has he changed, if at all? Because we do, you know, with maturity, you might be the same essentially at your core, but some things change a little. Any way you think he has changed, for better or for worse, or for better yet, or for even better?
Yes. Let me tell you where I would say the most drastic change have taken place in regards to his bravery. You know, in taking up the challenges that he's now undertaking. I mean, he has matured into a courageous person with all of the curiosity for knowledge. I am now seeing a side of him that is very courageous coming out. Very daring.
It's amazing how that can, you know, I guess the demands of the task can bring out the best in you, know, if you're committed to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh. How would you describe him to somebody who has not met him before?
Well, I would describe him as a person of integrity, you know, a person of integrity, a person that you can sit with and talk with, you know, and feel a confidant, somebody you can talk with and know that, you know, your business is safe with him. I see him as a confidant.
Mm-hmm. And you know that you have to behave yourself. Because if he will arrest his mother, you're just a friend. Even though it's a very good friend and a long-standing friend. But still, yeah, so you agree with the principle.
But I'm going to tell you something, Jerry. When we're growing up, Lyndon was always the one who was expressing that he wanted to become a soldier.
What?
Yes, but I never really showed much interest in becoming a soldier. But I've always wanted to become a police. You know. And so we used to talk about these things, really. I don't know if you remember those days, Lyndon.
Yeah, man. One of my dreams, anybody who know me, they would always know that one of my dreams was to become a soldier.
Right.
Did you?
However, when I was studying at Edmond College, I went by South Camp Road to check it out, but I was told that I was too old.
At that time,
mature.
Too old. Well, you know, and I was surprised because I was in my 20s, fairly mid.
Yes.
Really? So how young you have to be? You can't be recruited in your mid-20s. I didn't realize that. I know you have to be young, but I didn't know it was that young.
I think it's earlier than the mid-20s.
Wow.
For you to be like going in there full time. So
they want to get you and bend you and
yes.
and have you really ready.
Yeah. So I'll have to say, you know, based off the fact that I actually went there, I have to conclude and say all things work together for good. So sometimes we don't know what it would be, you know.
Yeah. So do you use your what aspect of studies did you do at Edna?
I studied music education.
We used to play the guitar together. We started.
Right, yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Yes, we have been arranging to meet and play some music for the longest while, but
yes, the time.
You know, life has been, you know.
Yes.
We used to play together from high school and all the way through, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, but me hear my dub poet online and think about Mr. Latta Scam man. Maybe you can bust him on a tune, you know. Him same can't sing, but maybe, you know. Maybe you can persuade him to kind of, you know.
Yeah, we have to go meeting at the studio.
Yeah. Who knows? Inspiration might, you know, make him vault over that reluctance to sing. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Well, Linda know from long time that singing is not my
your thing.
Yeah, it's just not my thing, you know.
Linda, you want to hold up a second for me? Just hold a second. We have to take a time signal. We'll be right back with you, all right? Yes, it's Palav on RJR. It's Real Jamaican Radio, and we got a real Jamaican hero with us. It's Sergeant Kevin Watson, the noble cop with a lot under his belt and still retaining his humility and his good, deep friendships. It's not surprising to me that he mentioned quietly off air, I don't have a lot of friends. Well, you know, sometimes that is a liability. Yeah, make them deep rather than wide. You know, pick them carefully, make them deep. Yeah. And, you know, rather than just, you know, pick up hype and thing out the street that don't really serve you.
Right.
Yeah. And we have one of his very friends of great long standing and one of his very best friends, Mr. Lyndon McFarlane, holding for us. Lyndon, are you with us still?
Yes, still with you.
Yes, man. So I was teasing him off here again. You know, I'm like, no. Lyndon knows this. That's never been my thing. But when the time comes, I'll play the guitar again. Do you sing, Lyndon?
Well, I am not a singer myself.
But as a musician, you hold a note.
I have to do what I have to do in the music world where I still function.
Right.
But I don't promote myself as a specialist in singing.
Right.
As a vocal trainer, but I do work in music, and I still continue to do so.
Mm-hmm. It's part of the whole jungle.
Yes, as a music educator, yes.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where do you see your friend in another 5 years or so, based on the trajectory he's on?
I see him, you know, as a person who's going to make changes.
Yes. A change merchant. A change maker.
Yes. Because of, you know, some things that have been woven in you from
from a child, it's hard for you to depart from it. Just as how the scripture says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. So I know that there are some things that are woven in his personality, some stuff that are core values, integrity, truth, and those things that will cause him to make a difference, in his field of work.
Excellent. Well, thank you. Unless you have a last lick, thank you for joining us. You have a last lick you want to throw out there, sir? Tell you what I asked you to do. Talk to any one of the young people about some of the stuff that Sergeant and I were talking about the need to kind of take control of what's going on around you now and just don't bother take on the arms house.
All right. There is a verse in the Bible that says, "He that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed."
That's right.
So the company, the association from early in life, one have to choose wisely.
Yes.
And I think that's where it starts. Because some people that become great, they don't necessarily have the best home environment cut out for them, But they make the right links and the right connections early in life, and that influence their outcome. So I would say choose your friends wisely from early.
Seek out the right company, right?
Right, and that can influence you all the way through. And if you make the wrong decision, it can be to their destruction, or just the same. So that's my word to the young people. All right.
Yes. Wise words, Mr. Lyndon McFarlane. You must be pretty special yourself because you went to Edna. I have a kind of soft spot for Edna, I think Edna is doing some things that people don't appreciate. So I always look at people a little different when they say they went to Edna, because they seem to be, with limited resources, they're doing some great things, I think.
All right. Well, we just give thanks that excellence is being seen in that era also.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, all right, Lyndon.
Thanks for your time. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll link.
God bless you all. Have a good day.
Yeah, man.
Right.
Good.
Yes.
Can you think of any, it could be one or two or three, depending, that you would say would be your high points so far? Things that have brought you greatest satisfaction in your present assignment?
Just being able to reach people. I never knew that I had that ability. As a matter of fact, I was always a behind the scene person. I've always said that my first promotion within the JCF to the rank of corporal, I got that promotion when nobody knew who I was in the JCF, but I was there fighting crime, doing my part, on the lottery scam task force. And so the fact that I'm able to have such influence on people is really something that I value. I'm happy that I'm able to help people. I'm happy that I'm able to make a difference in the JCF. So I guess those would be my high points. Joining the JCF, I always knew that I wanted to be a part of something great. I wanted to make a difference. But I did not know that I would be here now, making such a big impact. And so, I often say that when I go out and persons come up to me and commend me, "Boy, Mr. Watson, we thank you." It's always surprises me, because I never thought of myself, making such a big impact. And so I think I thank God every day that I'm able to do this, because I know that this is what we need. Are one of the things that we need in this country. We need good role models. We need persons who can stand up for justice, stand up with integrity. Now, I'm not saying that we don't have many. I'm not saying that we don't have many police officers in the force like that. We have quite a number of police officers who, are good role models, or stand up for integrity and so on. It's just that they are not being put in the
public sphere as much. Because you've had communication as a significant part of your role, so you've had to interface even more.
Exactly. Yeah. And the funny thing is that I have had no kind of communication training. As I said before, I'm a technical person. IT is my background. And I've never really, portrayed myself as a good communicator either. I would say that the English language is not even my cup of tea.
Funny you should use that one, the cup of tea.
Yes, my cup of tea is not. I know it's our language of communication, but it's not something that I really took such interest in learning proper grammar and I believe that when I was in school, I was a poor English student. But I remember my English teacher one day, I went to her class late because I was on one of the trees outside playing the guitar. And she, when I went to class, she ran me out of the class and said, "Listen, you go back under the tree to play that guitar because you did not come to school to learn." So it really amazed me that I'm able to communicate with persons in this way. And so many persons saying to me that, you're a good communicator. You're an intelligent person. It surprised me all the time.
Well, it's a skill, and your book knowledge can make you a good communicator by itself.
Right,
it helps you to understand the parameters of communication. It helps you to, I guess, judge when it's being done well.
Yeah.
But a lot of people can intellectualize about it, but can't do it.
Exactly.
And some people just have a great gift of connecting.
And that is what I believe, God has given to me, being able to connect with people. And I think it's also because of my genuine love and care for people.
That will do it.
Yes.
That will do it. You care enough, you connect.
Right. I do love my country very much. I care about the state of my country. And that is what I mean when I said that I'm a patriot.
Sure.
I believe that we can have, one of the best countries in the world. I believe that Jamaica, right now, in my mind, when you take out our crime situation, is one of the best countries. Every time I travel, whenever I come back to Jamaica, I feel really good to be back home. I know many persons get that feeling too.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I'm touching down at Norman Manley and I look down on the dirty city that smells bad, that full of crime, and I'm like, oh, yes, I'm home. I don't care. I love it and I want to be home.
Right.
I'm here by choice.
And that is why I'm so hurt when I see people, criminals taking the lives of innocent people, or even taking the lives of each other. I would say that it doesn't matter who is being killed. For me, every time somebody dies, it is something that touches my heart deeply. And because I believe that there is hope that people can change, no matter how much of a hardened criminal they are, I believe that we can make a change in people's lives. And so I'm very passionate about crime fighting because I want to see a better Jamaica. I want to see a better future for our country. I've always said to persons when I have certain kinds of discussions that money was never a priority for me. I've always been more concerned about the kind of positive effect that I can have on the lives of others.
Right.
I think so many of us, we are so focused on achieving materially that we don't think about the future. We don't think about our children and the kind of future that they're going to have, the country that they're going to inherit. I think we need to start to think long term. I realize that we are here for a short time, and when we're that we should do things to make things better for the future generation. We sometimes, I think many persons kind of think selfishly, where, you know, they just think about achieving materially now, you know, and they'll do it at any cost without thinking about the kind of impact, long-term impact that it will have on the country. I think many persons need to start to think long-term. You're not here forever. Your legacy must be positive.
Sure.
And that is my greatest desire.
Do it in the button changing.
Positive, right, to leave a positive legacy here on earth to change Jamaica for a better future.
Leave it better than you found it.
Exactly.
Good stuff. All right, let's get to some more music. If you want to participate, sure, the numbers are open. 926-2178, 926-7615, 926-8631. Our long bench guest, Sergeant Kevin Watson. We're hearing about the makings of a noble cop. Why is he the way he is, and what are his passions, and what's been happening, and why it is that we're seeing and hearing more. What can you do to be part of the solution? And reaffirming the fact that we do have an incredible country that we need to take better care of. Well, this fella didn't respect us so much when he came at all. When was Gilbert again? It was a few years ago. Not Gilbert? No. Oh, all right. Well, let's jump to that. Gilbert himself was a murderer of sorts. So let's talk Buju.
So, I see them lying there wait, standing at the gate. But yeah, I want my hand and I sing. You sing now, Lord. Murderer, blood is on your shoulder. Kill I today, you cannot kill I tomorrow. Murder, your inside must see Allah. How does it feel to take the life of another? Murderer, blood upon your shoulder. Kill me today, you cannot kill I tomorrow. Murder, your inside must see Allah. How does it feel to take a life? You can hide from man, but not your conscience. Oh no, you be brother surrounding the wine of violence. Allow yourself to be conquered by the serpent. Why you disobey the first commandment? Walk through the valley, I fear no pestilence. And it's my weakness, and him and me evidence. Lift up my eyes from whence cometh death. Them could have never escaped this your judgment. Murderer, blood upon your shoulder. Kill I today, you cannot kill I tomorrow. Murder, your inside must see Allah. How does it feel to take a life? I tell you no, all man are created equal. But behind the trigger, it's a different sequel. Some are murder people, just it and let me not stop coming dirty acts. With the eye official, you could have washed your head till you can't wash no more. It is like an epidemic and you can't find a cure. Upper class, you could have rich. Middle class, whether you're poor. Only the righteous who won't feel insecure. You ever think about your skull getting bored? Murderer, blood upon your shoulder. Kill I today, you cannot kill I tomorrow. Murder, your inside must see Allah. How does it feel to take a life? I'm talking soul for bitters, no bitter like your head. Only God can help you. No family, no friend, no let the curse be upon your children. Bend the ghost and round me shot. Daniel in the dead, Jonah in the whale belly, but he never condemn. Joe with the leprosy, but still reach heaven. He will do for you, and I will do your stuff for them. Murderer, blood upon your shoulder. Kill I today, you cannot kill I tomorrow. Murder, your inside must see Allah. How does it feel to take a life? Once more, you hide from man, but not your conscience. Oh no, you're the brothers surrounding the wine of violence. Allow yourself to be conquered by the serpent. What make you disobey the first commandment? Walk through the valley, I fear no pestilence. God of me weakness. witness and the one that evidence. Lift up my eyes from whence cometh it. They could have never escape this your judgment. Murderer, blood upon your shoulder. Kill I today, you cannot kill I tomorrow. Murder, your inside must see Allah. How does it feel to take a life? I tell you, all man are created equal. But behind the trigger, it's a different sequel. Some are murder people. Just sit and let murder stop coming dirty acts. For the eye official, you could have washed your head. Them say you can't push no more. It's like an epidemic.
This was an anthem a few years ago, and it is still as fresh. It talks about, I mean, you can say crime don't play but pay, but this is saying it in a much more forceful way, you know. Kill her today, you can't kill her tomorrow, I'm gone. And guess what? Your time won't come.
Yeah.
And when you're gone, you're gone too.
Exactly.
Is that the kind of life you want? You know. But Mr. Mark Mary, we're probably seeing him on this side of this prison system soon. Yeah. And it's always, we're talking up here that it's nice to see that having just accepted his situation,
yes,
he has used his time in incarceration to study and to continue to write and to, I think his testimony is going to be really pretty good with that corrective action that was taken, whether you consider it fair or unfair. I think it's going to make him a stronger and better human being.
I believe so too.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I'm looking forward to that, to see what we have.
You know, this particular song is a real good song, and I think that we need more artists singing songs like these, especially in Jamaica. We don't need artists, dancehall artists, to be singing songs that encourage crime and violence. We are already faced with a lot, you know. So we need more positive songs.
True.
Discouraging our young people from getting involved in crime.
Absolutely. Is there anything you haven't done yet that you would like to, anything on your bucket list, whether it be personal achievement or just places to travel to? I mean, it could be something not that serious.
Well, I'm happy you mentioned travel because that's one of the things I've always wanted to do. I think I've always said that I want to travel the world. There are so many places that I have not seen, you know, that I would love the opportunity.
Any special one?
Italy, Venice. I just like the idea of a city on the water.
Yeah, me too.
Right.
Me too. I just sit in front of a book and look at it.
Yes.
Wonder what it feels like.
Yeah, definitely. Among other places, you know, France, Germany. You know, I've been to London, England. I've not been to many places, but you know. USA is just right next door.
Right, so you're hopping on out. You're hopping on out.
Right.
But I mean, you know, you've been doing a lot with your life, so
yes,
you know, there'll be time.
With God's will, definitely. I believe that I'll get the opportunity to.
Yeah, absolutely. And any other thing you IT and policing, and these were career moves,
right?
Any other thing that you think you want to get involved with? Not necessarily as a career. Maybe writing. Retirement is a little way off, but maybe you know.
I tend to,
writing.
I think I like the idea of writing. As you know, I do write poems now. I have a number of poems that I've written. You know,
so you know you have to go bust one before you go.
Well,
not necessarily immediately, but
well, I have a number of them. I probably could do one that relates to law enforcement or police. I have one called Corruption.
Ooh.
I have one called.
Just send that one to Trevor
Police.
Monroe. Like they'll use it in NIA. Trevor, we're very happy to use that in the National Integrity Action work.
Right.
Yeah.
I have one called Innocent Premature Flower, and that speaks to child abuse, sex abuse. And that poem, I wrote it after a report when I was at the Criminal Investigation Branch, St. James. A report came to us of a little 11-year-old girl who was sexually abused by her dad, and the report, you know, touched me so much at the time that I decided to, put something in writing. So that's a good one, I believe. I have one called Police, and then I have one called Chinese Plastic Everything. I wrote that one, with the plastic rice saga that we had.
That one, though, you should send to South East St. Anne.
Yes. I have one. I have another one called Married Life. Is a serious thing.
Like married up teeth and teeth up teeth. It is a serious thing.
Yes.
Yes.
And then Scammer.
Yes.
Right.
Wow. Make me confused now. Stacey, which one of them you want?
Married Life.
No, the poem. I mean, I know first. I'm just messing with you. Just messing with you.
Oh God. Not nice. Not nice.
Evil.
Yeah.
I know. Oh gosh, we have to go walk. Behind me now, don't. All right. Who we have on line 6? Hello. Good afternoon. Hello.
Hello,
sir. How are you doing?
Good afternoon. I'm fine, thank you.
I thought you had skipped out on us.
No, sir. I'm right here.
You're right there.
Right.
You doing well?
Very well, thank you.
I'm doing pretty well. I have a gentleman here named Sergeant Kevin Watson. You know him?
Oh, really? Yes, sir. He's one of my students.
Oh, so did he leave your class and go play guitar outside too? Or that was afterwards? I'm just kidding. I know. I'm just messing with you. Tell me a little bit about how he was as a student.
Well, I met Kevin Watson at Ahmad Barak.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the year right now, but
2011.
2011.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Watson.
Yes, sir.
When Mr. Watson came into training as a member of the Island Special Constabulary Force, is very deep, the way he stands out. You could pinpoint that he was a person of worth from the very first time that I saw him. Mr. Watson, well, I should have told Mr. Watson this even before. Am I on here? May I ask?
Yes, Mr. DSP Hanson. Retired DSP.
Well,
yes.
I should have told Mr. Watson this even before I am on here.
Yes.
That Mr. Watson has made my life as a training officer then for the Island Special Constabulary Force so easy.
Wow.
Tell us more.
Okay, for example, the ticketing system. You know that the police write tickets.
Yes.
As the training officer, to make it easier for the instructors to present the lesson to the students, I need to get it on the system so that it could be projected on the board and explain the thing as we go on.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there wondering, how am I to deal with this thing? And one day Mr. Watson came up to me and said, sir, I am, to say an expert, for want of a better word, in computing. So I said, yeah. I said, could you do this for me? And it took Mr. Watson just overnight to put this thing together. The other morning when we presented the lesson as the general audience with all the students in that big auditorium, it was so easy. All that I need to do was to print off the ticket, give each student one, and do it on the board, and they follow me.
Wow.
It was so easy. And I didn't have the chance to tell Mr. Watson thanks. So I hope that he will accept it through this medium.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
I guess that's part of excellence, as we're talking about the search for excellence, is the whole notion of paying attention to things that might seem small.
Yes.
But these little details make huge impact.
Sure, sir. Yeah. Sure. Watson's own. And when I saw what Mr. Watson can do, I recommend him to the then the late Mrs. Leonie Meledo, Philip Meledo. Because we wanted to go to an area, of course, where this wealth of knowledge that he had, could be better used for the constabulary. And I think that is one of the reasons why he reached where he was. And Mr. Watson has done well over the years, in enhancing the Jamaica Constabulary Force as regards to investigation with MOCA and all of these things.
Right.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time, DSP.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hanson. I want you to know that you have been one of those persons in the constabulary force that has really influenced me to excel. I look up to you as one of the best training officers, although I've not had any other. But thank you very much, sir.
So since I take so long to tell you that,
yes, sir,
and you're just telling me, then we quit.
Right.
Thanks for your service, boss. You're still as sharp as a tack now.
Thank you very much so much.
Thank you, retired DSP Hanson. Thank you so much.
Okay, sir. Thanks.
Keep well. Keep well.
Thank you.
We'll be back on Palaver after these.
Think about the generations and to say we want to make it a better place for our children and our children's children, so that they know it's a better world for them, and think if they can make it a better place.
There's a place in your heart, and I know that it is love, and this place is much brighter than tomorrow. And if you really try, you'll find there's no need to cry. In this place, you feel there's no hurt or sorrow. There are ways to get there if you care enough for the living. Make a little space, make a better place. Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying. If you care enough for the living, make a better place for you and for me. If you want to know why, there's a love that cannot lie. Love is strong, it only cares for joyful giving. If we try, we shall see. In this bliss we cannot feel. There are dread, we stop existing and start living. Then it feels that always love's enough, hope is growing. Make a better world, make a better world. Heal the world, make it a better place.
late Michael Jackson. Every time I say that, I mean, it's been a while, and it's like, I'm dead for real.
Can't use it.
Dead bad. Gone. Completely. Wow, what is man, as the old time people of country used to say.
Yes.
A life journey. We were growing up.
Yes, we're just here for a short time.
That's right. Yeah, like a temporary mist appearing for a time and then disappearing. When the scripture licked me one day at church, I'm like, oh yes, this is it, a temporary mist. Like you wake up and see the mist of a blue mountain and then it goes.
Right.
That's our life.
And so you see why it is so important
to make an impact.
To make an impact.
Yeah.
Right.
What can we do to heal the world? Well, the Sarge is now going to take charge. You're going to read the one about corruption before you reach Stacey on, right? Just because of the timing.
Stacey wanted married life.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I can do the one that I have with which is entitled Corruption.
Right.
And then I get on to that. Depend on the timing.
We'll do that.
We have time?
We will, yes.
All right. So this one is entitled Corruption. It goes like this. Government officials, police and all in authority, the welfare of your country should be your top priority. Now use your power and the trust of the people for your own personal gain, while some live in the slums and the ghetto and you live in the fast lane. Moral impurity, embezzlement and bribery, and that contribute to the exploitation of our society. Selling out your country and integrity for a small fee just don't make no sense to me. You, Mr. Officer, taking bribe, ignoring your sense of duty, acting unscrupulously, causing justice to lose our beauty. Spreading corruption like a disease infection. Surely this needs instant cure and vaccination. You, Mr. Minister, with the keys to the bimmer, Zim Zimmer, driving the country in a stonewall, wrecking it with your dishonest behavior, feeding the rich and starving the poor, while your friends and family get government contract galore. Corruption is your profession, eating the society like a termite, eating slowly, eating day and night with no end in sight. A pest like this must be drenched in pesticide, stomp out corruption until there's no hole to hide. This situation need the right resolution. As a country, as a people, we are going to fight until we get a revolution. We must end this exploitation, this evil oppression, accepting salvation while destroying this monster of the utmost violation.
Wow.
So that's the one, corruption.
That's some serious stuff. Very pointed. See? Big applause from the radio.
Right.
Yeah. And I agree. I think if you don't do it, I will do it. And send it to Monroe.
Exactly. And you know, we should understand that, or we must understand that it takes, you know, two. And the people, you know, not only the government, but the people of Jamaica also have a responsibility.
You're right.
To help to rid this country of corruption. Because I think that our society sort of some way encouraged the, you know, encourage corruption.
I remember when I worked at the U.S. Embassy for a little bit, Sukab, then Ambassador Sukab said something that has stuck with me.
Yes.
We're in a meeting, public meeting, so I can disclose, where there were private sector people and they were kind of like talking about how the public sector want clean up and blah, 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 blah. And Ambassador Cobb looked at them and smiled and said, you know, I just want to say one thing. I've never seen any civil servant with enough money to bribe another.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's like prostitution only exists because men are buying, but we turn around and call the prostitutes all kind of names, right?
Yes.
Them can't sell if you don't buy.
Right.
But do the men who patronize them get stigmatized? No.
Right.
Do the people who attempt to bribe public servants get stigmatized? No.
Exactly. And
no, without that money, they can't be bribed.
Right.
You know.
I agree.
All right, Stacey.
You want to hear the one?
Yes.
Yes, please.
All right. So this poem kind of takes it from both sides.
Makes sense.
Both from the woman's side and
from the man's side.
Right. All right. So this one is entitled "Married Life is a Serious Thing." Right. Married life is a serious thing. So careful when you put on the wedding ring. For some woman just want the bling bling, while some man just want the sin thing. Trouble no set like rain, as you quench your ball for emotional pain. Dash out your sweetness, think him would have tame. But in the morning, him say it was all a game. Say she a gonna make you happy here and ever after. Make you her king and full up your life of laughter. Now she a wife, she stop cook and tell you to drink salt water. Lock shop on you cause she no want a son or daughter. Today he make you feel like a queen. If a fly pitch on you, he make a scene. Tomorrow him cut you off like a guillotine. Cause what him want in him life is a girl in her teens. Today she want you put a ring on it. Cause to her she want you to commit. Tomorrow she just can't stand it. Cause what she want in her life is a goldsmith. Today him stick on you like a crazy glue. Give you enough loving, not just a few. Tomorrow him fly away like a bird without a clue. Leaving you with your eye them black and blue. Today there's nothing that she wouldn't do. Cause a long time she want a man like you. Tomorrow is the next man she a screw. Leaving you bawling, saying if only I knew. Married life is not a bed of rose. You have whole heap of highs and whole heap of lows. Cause you live the life that you chose. So be sure about it before you propose. Married life is a serious thing.
Wow. Before you propose.
Yes.
No, the bottom line is
yes
that some people skin get hot and them don't think about things.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is one of my fun poems. It's not something that I rehearse every day. So
no, I get it.
Right.
I mean, when you write, it's kind of you pour it out in the moment, and,
right.
and when you read it aloud, it's a different
exactly.
thing. So we get that, but now I understand. So the writing, you'll do you think you'll probably do some kind of memoirs a little bit later as well about your journey? Because that will help some people who are then the youngsters.
Definitely. Writing is something that I've always also wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And not just writing for writing's sake, but writing to help persons, writing that can be impactful.
Mm-hmm. Wow. All right. We always ask for our last lick around about this time. What would be your final shot to our listeners when all things considered, where we are at this time and moving forward? I know you have shared quite a number of powerful messages.
Yes.
But just as a point of departure, what would be on your heart right now?
Well, what I want to say is that we all need to work together to make Jamaica a better place. And that's why I like the fact that you finish off this segment with that song, Heal the World. We need to heal Jamaica right now with the problems that we're being faced with. And our biggest problem is crime and violence. And the government cannot do it by themselves. The police cannot. We cannot do it by ourselves. It's a united effort. United we stand, but divided we fall. And so all of us here in Jamaica need to really come together, stand up against this crime monster. And I can tell you, if we stand together, we will surely defeat the problem of crime and violence. And there is no doubt in my mind that once we are able to defeat this crime monster, then Jamaica is going to be a better place. We are going to see more economic growth, right? We are going to create a safe environment to raise your family, to work, and a place that will attract more and more and more tourists, because it will be the best place on earth. So I want us as Jamaican to just work together, support the government in its effort. We see the recent establishment of Zozo, and I believe that it has the potential of helping to reduce the problem of crime. But let us also look outside of Zozo. We need a broad strategy to work, because seeing that Zozo can't cannot be the whole island cannot be established as a zone of special operations. And
cordon off the country.
Yeah,
the
we can't
country.
do that, right? Based on the legislation too, and so they have to be doing it, community at a time, and so what we need to kind of come up with a broad strategy that can work for the entire Jamaica. Notwithstanding that Zozo is going to be significant, because what it will be doing is targeting the real troubled areas to kind of normalize the area. So I think that was a very good move by the government. So I just want to say, support Jamaica, support the police in the fight against crime. You're always going to have bad police officers, but the majority of police officers are good, law-abiding citizens. Support the police and support the government in the fight against crime. I love my country and I love my people. That's it.
Bless you, sir. Thank you very, very much. An amazing young man, epitomizing the whole theme for the month, which is that thirst for excellence. And yes, he's fun-loving too. You can be very serious and achieve, but you can also have a chuckle every now and then. And that's what it's about. Real people doing extraordinary things. And today we had the pleasure of the company of Sergeant Kevin V. Watson, Communication Manager, JCF's Joint Task Force. We'll be back in just a few.